Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. First, I want to say I hope everyone had a great week and is enjoying their summer. It's great. I'm in a good mood. Sports are back. We got baseball. We got the NBA playoffs starting here. So regardless of what you think of, kind of what's going on with those, it's nice to have something else to watch besides reruns. As much as I love watching The Simpsons reruns every single day. What I want to talk today about is the average age of Corvette owners and what I think it means. So Experian did a survey, this was like 2016 I believe, and they found that the average age of Corvette owners was 59, which sort of plays in the stereotype of, Corvette owners are all old. But this actually gave some actual definitive proof that it is true. And, hey, facts don't care about your feelings, so yes, broad statement, Corvette owners are older. The reason I wanted to talk about it though today is there was a recent poll on Corvette forums, and there's these polls a lot on various car forums. I'm sure on any other forums, how old are you? How old were you when you bought this? Certain thing, whatever the forum's about, that sort of stuff. So this was in the C6 forum, and mentioning it now, I think it carries across the entire spectrum of the cars in general. So that's why I'm bringing it up. So what the Corvette Forum survey found was that the average age of owner was 53. And this is kind of why I think it does sort of carry across, is because the Experian study across all Corvettes of all generations was 59, and this one was 53. So it's close. It's not going to be exact, and I'm sure, as you get to the more expensive ones, it's going to sort of skew a little bit, but that's, neither here nor there. We're just sticking with this one, and that's what we're talking about. Even though it said the average age of the Corvette owner was 53 for the C6, it broke it down as well into what type of car people had. And that's why I wanted to bring it up, because it found that the average age of the Z06 owner was 33, which is quite a bit younger than the 53 for the overall model, which also means that the people who own the actual, base models are really old. But 33 is a lot younger than you would think of when you think of your sort of like stereotypical Corvette owner. Now, I have a Z06 and I'm 37, so I guess that means I'm a little behind schedule on this. Because it also found that the average age of the C6 ZR1 was 38. So apparently I need to be getting a ZR1 here sometime soon. But that, it was interesting because it really does show that, just because the overall age of the group might be something that when you break it down to categories, that shows a much more, dynamic picture. So what does all of this mean? So to me it shows a few things. First, and this is kind of obvious, but it does show that all Corvette owners are not, in fact, all old men, old geezers. Obviously, showing the average age, it still is a little bit higher than other sports cars, but it does show that, when you look at the numbers as they're broken down, it shows that it does appeal to, a lot of other people as well, not just older guys. The other thing I think it shows is that the younger generation is a lot more enthusiastic about the performance aspects of the car than the older generation is. I mean, that kind of makes sense. As you get older, you don't care about being, the fastest guy around. I know that even as I get older, having a car that puts, 1,500 horsepower to the wheels isn't as important to me as it was when, back in like the Supra days and things like that for me. So even now, as I'm, cresting into my midlife crisis of when I should be getting a Corvette, the performance aspect isn't quite as important, but it's still, it's still important. I mean, I'm not quite that old yet. The other thing is that I think it shows that the car has a lot of mass appeal. It appeals to people across, all age groups and across the spectrum. So there's something in it for everyone. I kind of give a lot of automakers, especially the domestic ones. This was more kind of pre bailout, back years and years ago. But they just all too many models. Just just stick with like a few and go with it. But I think the Corvette shows that there is a reason to have multiple models because there's different things for everyone. Like maybe you're old uncle or whatever wants just like a base model convertible kind of cruise around with his wind whipping through his bald scalp. And then there's other people who want something more of like a more touring type car who go with the Grand Sport but still wants to do the performance because it has got the better engine and just then the basic models. So there is something for everyone, and I think that's a good thing. And kind of the final thing is that it shows that the Corvette also has great value. Kind of going back to mass appeal, because of how the great value of it. You know, people do want the cars. Like for me, it was like, I'm not going to find anything else that really performs like the Z06 for anywhere close to the price. And I do think that's kind of what's going to keep some of these Corvettes from like falling too far as depreciation. Totally different video, but you know, we'll deal with that at a different time. So I think that, you know, the value's there. Yeah, there's a lot of plastic on these cars, and you know, there's some of the buttons are a little weird, interior looks kind of cheap, but the, you know, the performance value is there. It's just a fun car to cruise around in, pretty reliable. I don't have to worry about everything, you know, breaking. Like, you know, my neighbor is Ferrari with the motor mounts. I don't have to worry about that. So there's a lot of things there that, you know, that have, you know, why it has, you know, it's a good value buy. So that being said, I appreciate you watching, and I will see everyone next time.